the Nigerian president here on Nigerian soil saw what perhaps would have shocked a lot of watchers, political analysts who thought that this time around it's supposed to be analysis and assessments of the midterm performance of the president and his government. So the All Progressives Congress, APC, the governors, the leaders of the party, leaders of the National Assembly have all endorsed President Bwala Tinubu as the party's sole candidate. That in fact came from Bwala, the Senate president, and his colleague in the National Assembly, where the 22 governors under the aegis of the Progressives Governors Forum announced their endorsement through their chairman, Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and his deputy, the Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Obasani, at the National Summit held at the banquet hall of the State House in Abuja earlier today. Let me begin by showing you what happened at the moment when the APC governors gathered together through their chairman, Senator Uzodinma, who moved the motion for the president's adoption, while it was seconded by the forum's vice chairman, Governor of Kaduna State, Obasani.
We are satisfied with the midterm review and performance evaluation report of the reviewed Hope agenda, that we are aware that the Nigerian nation is moving in the right direction economically, socially, and politically, and that we are convinced that under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, Nigeria will get to her destination faster in prosperity. We acknowledge the resolution of these governors that the president should be used and be adopted as our flag bearer for 2027 presidential election for his second term in office.
I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, the governor of Imo State, His Excellency Hope Uzodinma, that this August gathering pass a vote of confidence on our able and amiable president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a sole candidate of APC come 2027 general election. I so second.
So the message was that all of the governors of the APC should go back home and work for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu. Well, re-election the year. So you might be shocked. It's not happening next year. It's not happening upper year. It's going to happen in 2027. And they say they've adopted the president as the flag bearer of the party in 2027. Now, afterwards came the Senate president and leaders of the National Assembly. Godswill Akpabio, the leader of the Senate, spoke on behalf of his colleagues in the Senate. And he also gave the endorsement of himself and his colleagues in the APC in the Senate. And in fact, they were the ones who said the sole candidate and the flag bearer of the party. Take a listen to Godswill Akpabio.
Nigerians are saying that because you have done a difficult job well, that it is time for us to reward you by sending you back to the presidency for a second term in office. I move, therefore, as the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that Mr. President return, one, as a candidate of the APC unopposed, and secondly, as the next president for a second term come 2027. I so move.
On behalf of the whole entire 109 senators, 360 members, and all the 36 speakers and their members, to second this very important motion moved by the Senate President as was second.
After that, now came the big one, because all of these endowments will not hold water if the party does not give the candidate the ticket. So this is about the ticket, not a meal ticket. It's a ticket for the election. And coming from Umaru Abdullahi Ganduje, the governor, former governor of Kano State and the national chairman of the APC. And this is how he put it. He called it a brief remarks, but it's perhaps one of the longest after the president's at the summit today. Take a listen to Abdullahi Ganduje.
On behalf of the National Working Committee, the only recognized platform, I believe, legally, the only recognized platform to field a candidate in any to field a candidate in any election. I hereby affirm the various endorsements and declare President Bwala Tinubu as the sole presidential candidate of APC.
It is a no contest in 2027 and the APC. Anybody who has ambition in that party should move to another party. That is what the party has said today. So you imagine, is it the national convention of the party? How does this hold water in any? It's a national summit. I'm looking at the legal consequences of what and the political consequences of what they have done today. But they call it a national summit and a midterm scorecard presentation. But here comes the Olodoide, according to the singer, the primary performer of the day, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, how he calls him popularly. When the president took to the podium, he said to Nigerians to be patient. He said, in fact, that the members of this party are the real people of Nigeria, and those who are on the other side should jump ship and come into the party. And when the president spoke about a possibility of a one-party state, this is how the president put it. Take a listen to him.
I just need to tell those ones saying one-party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. Where do they start? You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket. I'm glad of what we have, and I'm expecting more to come.
As President Bwala Tinubu there, let's make sense of this. First and foremost, from the point of view of those who are close to the president, who listen to him, who work with him, who speak with him every day. Let's get a sense of what exactly is going on in the villa. There are those who are saying whatever has gone on today is a clear case that all is not well in the villa and in the APC for whatever that has been displayed today. Daniel Bwala is a lawyer and one of the spokespersons of President Bwala Tinubu is live for us here in our studio. Thanks so much, Mr. Bwala, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
What happened? Why the endorsements?
Yeah, what happened today is beauty to behold. It is a tapestry of organization. Yeah, it goes to show that APC as a progressive party is a party that is living to its creed. The problem we used to have before now is that political party come, they win election, and they don't sit down to assess and reassess their performance. I'm sure you are aware of performance indicators that the president set for the ministers. This midterm is a performance assessment on the president himself. So to submit yourself to that performance assessment, to a large extent, go to show how development-driven the president is. And it is the event of today didn't start today, actually. Before now, people were asked to review our promises, our manifestos to the Nigerian people, vis-a-vis our performance so far, and see whether the president has performed to a point where he will deserve, first from the party, the second term. What happened today is a party affair, and that's why it is perfectly normal. You have to be able to decide within the party a direction, and then you can come out to the Nigerian people and say, this is what we think. So it is an expression of organization, beauty, and the fact of what the president has achieved that gave the impetus to the members to say we're giving him that opportunity is obvious to everyone in Nigeria.
Let me ask you a quick question, Mr. Bwala.
Right.
As a Nigerian, as a Christian,
yeah,
and I want you to be truthful.
Yeah.
As the president delivered.
So the word delivered means he has concluded the first term. There are quite a number of things yet. He will be the first person to tell you there are quite a number of things that are yet to be seen. But if you ask the question, has the president performed? Then my answer would be a very big capital yes. And where am I coming from? Because before, when the president took the oath of office, as a journalist, you are aware that the situation and the economy, the revenue and everything around Nigeria was quite tight. People were buying naira with naira. You know that 27 states of the federation were not paying salaries because of no income. You know in this FCT where you live, there were prison breaks all over Nigeria. You also know that at the time when this Boko Haram Abi insurgent killed our soldiers around Bwala, they said they were even coming to the villa. All of these things are quite obvious. And you also know that we had a debt. You also know we didn't have much revenue. Now, between that time and today, we came and saw foreign reserve 33 billion. We have 41 billion. We have paid our legacy debt. We were not the ones talking. The World Bank came and told you. The World Bank said we have been able to put the economy of the country on a modest
progress. The IMF talked about debt.
The IMF.
The World Bank talked, yeah.
Yes, right. They talk about modest progress. And then the states of the federation that couldn't pay salaries. Now, they are not only paying salaries, most of them are meeting up to the minimum wage. They are doing projects, and some of them have even paid their debt. All of this happened because of increased revenue. And that's one of the visions of the president.
First and foremost, before I became a journalist, I'm a Nigerian.
Correct.
I'm human.
Correct.
Do you think for a moment that this is a slap on the faces of those of Nigerians, the right-thinking Nigerians who think, yes, we will be stupid at this time to think that Bwala Tinubu and his government have done nothing? But have we gotten to the point where the president will be passed for primary 2 to primary 6 and say he deserves to go to the secondary school even when he has not finished primary 2?
Yes.
Does that make sense to any right-thinking person if your party has not played on the intelligence of the Nigerian people?
So this is
by this activity today.
So there's a misconception by anybody who wants to see what transpired today as our engagement with Nigerians. It was a party affair. Party affair, at any given time, you can pass vote of confidence or say no. Party must do self-introspection. Party must do...
So Nigerians should ignore?
No, not about ignoring. So what I'm saying is, what happened today is not in any way beating on the sensibility of Nigeria or suggesting to Nigerians that the president has done everything. But what happened today, it is our own internal examination before we bring the external examiners, which is the Nigerian people. And the internal examination of our party, you know, we have manifesto and we have things we wanted to do, ranging from nail phone, from infrastructure, from security, quite a number of things. And we know what the president has done so far. So we looked at the two, and we arrived at the conclusion that given what he saw, what he has done, and only in 2 years,
you don't think that this is playing to the gallery?
No, not at all.
If you are, let's assume someone is so brilliant and so performs so well, he gets a double promotion.
Right.
Not graduate out of high school and taken straight to college from going from primary school straight to university.
Yeah.
That is not what Nigerians. Do you think this is what Nigerians really expect?
So you talked about double promotion. Promotion is done at the end of the day when you write the exams, right? If you're planning to write WAEC, for students who wrote WAEC, before the WAEC, they used to have some mini exams to prepare them for the WAEC. That's what happened.
So today. APC set the exam, APC passed the candidate, APC is the examiner, APC is the one giving the result, APC is the one promoting the candidate. That is what has happened today.
As far as the issue of today is concerned, we have been getting feedback from Nigerians. But what we did was to focus on ourselves first. Are we satisfied that the president has achieved to a point where we'll give him his endorsement? We have every constitutional right. In fact, what I thought you would be doing is to be celebrating us, because before now, political party come, win election, they stay another 4 years, they come back to Nigerians. They don't do this summit where we assess ourselves. And like I told you, it's not an event that happened today.
So Mr., if you want to, so you've touched a very corner of me. So when you said I should be celebrating, so a summit, and I will applaud your party that you are even thinking of doing anything in terms of assessment. But I imagine that assessment should have been also debated amongst yourselves.
Yes.
But this was people just coming, leaders of the party saying, President, you are the best. President, you are, after you, there's nobody. Our party is the greatest. There is everybody coming to our... And imagine, those who were attacked in the north, those who cannot pay fees,
correct,
will be wondering, are these guys living in the real Nigeria or what?
So those the people
Isn't that going to be the highest place of sycophancy politically?
Not speaking? Really, because the people who you are referring to are not members of our party. They understand that what happened today is the activities of our party. They can understand that what we are doing is assessing ourselves, gauging ourselves, and say whether the candidate that is currently sitting on the seat, we want him to still go. So that if the president has not performed, then it is from today we will decide the party will begin the process that will lead up to an open primaries where everybody will go and contest.
I imagine that since Nigerian people voted the president,
right,
you should commit the Nigerian, the performance of the president to the judgment of the Nigerian people.
Correct. Correct. So there are two things to it. One, we have been all over Nigeria getting feedback from Nigerians. The performance indicators set out by the president for the ministers, we have citizen engagement. And we've been getting the feedback. We know that for a fact. But we also know our limit as a party, that the time for campaign has not come. The time when parties will begin political activities, when you start dating, courting the Nigerian people, that time has not come.
Okay, so let's get into it. And one area that I would love you are in charge of policy. And so you have all of the facts, you have all of the data, you have all of that. And you have been given the duty to speak directly to the heart of what the president stands for in this government, which is policy and its performance. And I'd like to begin on the issue of the economy.
Correct.
Have we turned the curve to say our economy is stabilized? And Nigerians are watching tonight. Look, you will be out of office, President Bwala will be out of office, but what will not be forgotten is the role everyone played in the history of this country, whether they are truthful to the Nigerian people. I will be the first to applaud the government or the president if you achieve the best. There are policies that we have applauded right on this program.
Right.
But in your own sense, do you think you have turned the curve?
The economy is out of the intensive care unit. The economy is at the recovery room in the hospital. So the economy is still in the hospital. We admit of that. But coming out of intensive care unit to the recovery, if you ask medical practitioners, they will tell you it is not moi moi. It is a very big milestone that you are at a point when you can die, to a point where fundamentals of what would have caused for your death has been dealt with. But now you need to recover from the basics. And if you look at our economy, because we are settling debt, because we have foreign reserve, because we have also established key baseline for the growth of the economy, we can beat our chest and say the economy is stable. We are entering the stage where the effect of the economy will hit the Nigerian people in its proper form. And we are not in any way suggesting it hasn't done that, because I told you, when you look at it, Mr. Sheun, this administration of President Bwala Tinubu, he said, during my time, there will be no ASU strike. He ensured that the needs of ASU people were given. And there so far has not been any strike by ASU in Nigeria. This president led and spearheaded the increase of minimum wage to the Nigerian people. This president ensured that our youth corpus get as much as 77,000 in a month. This president ensured that the critical areas of the economy, the private sector, are given access to equal opportunity to thrive. This president, at the same time, ensured that while we're carrying out this reform, there are interventions. Interventions are to meet with the indigent members of the society. So, for example, the NEL Fund. Close to 300,000 students in Nigeria are beneficiaries of the NEL Fund to fund their studies. What about the rice program that is all over Nigeria? Look at the agriculture. And they look at the credit scheme that has been established so that we curb corruption. Civil servants don't have to steal money to buy cars.
Let's just stay with the economy, Dr. Bwala.
Right.
The parity of the naira to the dollar.
Look at the stability of that period.
What did you? Well, in terms of stability, yes, we have achieved that stability. It's not gone as high as it is undulating a few times.
But within a reasonable margin that is understood and appreciated by the basics of economics.
But the fact, on that note, in terms of parity, what your government met on the ground and what is on the ground is far cry.
It can never be the same. Why? Because when that $1 to the naira used to be 170, is because there is a dollar somewhere that was subsidizing for it. And that dollar subsidizing for it at some point wasn't even going to the purpose it was intended for. It was going into the pocket of
so
people.
You look at
you have reported it as a journalist.
There are other indices. Food inflation, which is the core, that is inflicting pain on all other metrics of the economy. Is still very high.
But what was the latest report? The latest report of the inflation
is improving. The question is that how much of improvement have we seen?
And this is where
your government brought that problem.
No, it's not a problem. Your government saved Nigeria from decadence. It's a reverse psychology you're playing. Our government, because you can imagine for a moment, when the president came, he continued with the status quo. Where will he get the money to subsidize for the dollar, subsidize for the fuel? Where will he get the money to support state to pay salary? Where will he get the money to invest in those infrastructure, hospitals, students, and the rest? Where? Nowhere. You can fast, you can pray, it will never come. He thought to himself, we need to generate revenue. How can the future of our children and our children be engaged? So he came up with this idea. Even the tax, wait for a moment, give us the next 12 months and see what our tax reform will bring to Nigeria in terms of increased revenue. Do you know the revenue we are generating? So we should be clapping like this to the president. Because, you see, that decision the president took, I beat my chest to tell you from 1999 till date, every president that came was, I won't use the word afraid, but ran away from taking that decision. And every president discussed that. Obasanjo discussed it. He said they would do it in phases. He left it. Yar'Adua came. Jonathan came. Buhari came. In fact, at a point, Buhari was going to do it immediately. Before people advised them otherwise. President Bwala Tinubu came and said, oh, no, I'm a consequential president too. We can't sell the future of our children. All of us as a family must realize we don't have income. We've been living a fake life. And right now we are in danger. So let's take the decision. But he prepared our minds. He said it will be tough. The president didn't fool anybody.
So now the big question here is that, well, the president came, made some decisions that caused the trouble, and he's trying to,
and there's relief now.
Well, maybe you are feeling it. You are in Babariga.
You are not feeling the relief?
You're in Babariga.
Let me ask you, are you feeling the relief or not?
I can't talk about relief. I'm not an average person. I'm a journalist.
Oh, I'm glad you are
in my own class. I can't compare. I won't class myself with the millions of Nigerians who are facing the suffering there. I have a stable job right here. I cannot classify myself. My job is a high-end job. As far as my class in this job is concerned. But I cannot, just remember, I can't class myself with those. If you say Nigerians are feeling the relief, who are those who are feeling the relief?
You see, the suffering.
The food, price of food, the issue of inflation, how much of relief as Nigerian people?
So let me give you this. Let me tell you a graphic example of how the relief is done now. The food prices went up because we were no longer paying subsidy and there was cyclical effect in the value chain. But then we have bad roads. So we now invest in roads, construction and infrastructure so that there will be ease of business, and trade. And this investment in road created jobs, and it has also its own cyclical effect. We also invest in healthcare, thereby creating opportunity for our people to not have to travel, but they will take care of their basic need. We look at education, and we now invested in education. So the same poor man that has now felt bad because of that decision, his situation became precarious. Now the impact of those decisions we have taken is coming back to him. But you see, when we talk about plan, there is an immediate, there is a midterm, and a long term. I told you about the immediate. Now take for a moment, and the best way for you to understand how the common man is positively impacted by President Bwala Tinubu's administration. What constitutes the corporate entity in Nigeria is the states of the federation, because the federal government is just small. These poor people you are referring to, they are in our local government, they are in our villages, they are in our towns, isn't it? The president introduced local government autonomy that push enormous resources to the local government so that when deployed judiciously, Dr. Shehu, when it is deployed judiciously, it will take care of insecurity, it will bring about commercial activities in that local level, it is going to provide healthcare services to the people, and it is going to deal with the root cause of insecurity, which is poverty, lack of education, and the rest. Is the poor man not directly impacted by that? So, and this is when we are doing reform. I have never seen anywhere in the world where a reform is carried out and it doesn't come with inconveniences.
Yeah. So, Dr. Bwala, to wrap up the conversation,
right.
And I can mention a few, which I think your government can borrow you a few things, which is also part of our role, to be able to let the Nigerian people know how they can benefit from the effort and the policy of government. The free cesarean section that government gives to the Nigerian people, that is applaudable. I mean, that is an initiative that makes a lot of sense. Thousands of people die, hundreds of people who do not know that that is available, they die. And this government put that in place. It's affordable. You talk about the NEL fund, and the students who are getting those, although there are some people who are now going in the institutions who are going back, that is applaudable. You talk about the revenue, the increase in revenue, states are getting it, that's applaudable.
Standardization of the airport, improvement of roads.
Is it commonsensical to think that to have a headway in a Nigeria that has been bereft of good leadership, that corruption has almost killed the nation, that you have a leader that will take a hard decision? Yes, it's right thinking to think that a leader will come and take the hard decision. But the question here is the event of today. That are you not rubbishing the sensibility of the average person by rejoicing and celebrating what has not fully come round in a second year of a 4-year term?
And that's what
that is the question.
And the answer,
is your party panicking? Is there desperation in your party? Is all well within your party?
All is well. Can you see me? Do I look like all is not well?
You're not the average man in your party.
Have you ever seen me with Agbada before? So you see, let me tell you, Mr. Sean, I said it and it bears repeating. What we had today is internal mock. We know the WAEC is yet to come. We know the exam is yet to come. In fact, why we call it a national summit of our party and we didn't throw it to the general Nigerian people is because we respect the sensibility of the people. So we don't want to go to them yet. It is not even time to go to them. And in terms of communicating, what we're doing is what we do every time. On an average, 5 times every week, I'm in all platforms.
The question is, you people are celebrating Christmas in June. Why not wait for things to come around before celebrating? Okay. Because you are in the process of delivering. You have not delivered. You have not performed. Then you are celebrating.
Yes, we have not performed to you.
The opposition does not agree.
But
you are part of Nigeria.
I explained to you.
I highlighted some of the effort that have been made. But is it not too early to be jubilating when you have not come around in the delivery of the promises?
And I said it's because it's an internal affairs of the party. If we had called the nation, and we're doing that, yes,
it's on national television.
Yes, but it's for our party. And the reason we wanted a beam on national television for people to see transparency. And we want all other parties to copy. That at every given time a party is in government, you must do midterm assessment. The president must be examined by the party.
Well, the opposition does not think that your party has done well for Nigeria.
How can they know when they have eyes they can't see?
Erufai is saying already they will send President Bwala Tinubu back to Lagos in 2027.
From where? Where is he? Where is his party?
Are you aware that they're planning SDP, ADC, and all of these parties?
Even they are trying to bring penicillin and penicillin. Let me tell you, this opposition, very sadly, in my recent memory, is the worst that has ever happened to Nigeria. Don't forget, Shehu, let me even use this opportunity and also praise myself. When the president became president, after the election was over, I was single-handedly in the opposition, right? When I made a decision and I came over to President Bwala Tinubu and I came back to my party, the floodgate opened and they were joining us. So I am Moses in this journey. And the reason is simple. President Bwala Tinubu is delivering on the promise. He's not perfect.
It's for Nigerian people to judge. Your party is supposed to be in the farm working for the Nigerian people.
But congratulate us for the event of today, please.
I won't, because...
So you are now in the opposition?
No, I'm a media person.
Congratulate me for wearing a bada.
That's going to be a personal conversation afterwards. But right here, I think you should subject yourselves to the assessment of the Nigerian people.
We will do that when the time comes. People judge. We will when the time comes.
Dr. Daniel Bwala, the special advisor to President Bwala Tinubu, a spokesperson on policy. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you as always.
I wish your party well. And Nigerian people well.
Thank you for the congratulations. I'm happy.
That's not a congratulatory message. We take a break, everyone. But when we return, we'll be hearing from the spokesperson of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Paul Ibe will be joining us. He's one speaking about the decision of Vice President Atiku Abubakar in the whole defection and the alliance and the call for the opposition to stand as one. We'll be right back after this break, everyone. Turn us again.